Today we're driving the new 2021 Lexus ES 250 all-wheel drive. The car that we're in today is a F-Sport, so that means the MSRP is just under $46,000. This is powered by a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated inline four-cylinder. It makes 203 horsepower and 183 pound-feet of torque. This is basically the same powertrain that's in the new Camry all-wheel drive. The only problem is this is about 440 pounds heavier than the Camry all-wheel drive Limited. And with just a 2.5-liter engine and 203 horsepower, I'm just going to say it, guys, this is a pretty underpowered Lexus ES. But starting off, powertrain woes aside, this is a really nice Lexus ES. It's a big improvement from the previous ESs, I think, in terms of look and aesthetic and design. I mean, the interior materials and quality here kind of remind me a little bit of the Lexus LS 500. And this Mark Levinson speaker surround, the doors, the leather, everything in here is just fantastically appointed. I definitely think this is one of the more luxurious looking and feeling sedans in this segment. I would just swing for the ES350 or the ES300H. So in this video, we're going to walk you around this new ES, take it for a drive, and we'll do a sound system test for this Mark Levinson at the end of the video. We have a power lifting trunk. A lot of good trunk space in here. We do have a spare tire, though unfortunately the rear seats don't fold down, which is a bit of an omission. Let's show you guys under the hood. I think if this were turbocharged, it would be fine. It does have kind of a strange idle, especially with the climate control on. It's a little bit rough at stoplights, to be honest. Kind of weird. Not very Lexus-like. I don't know if it's an issue with this particular test car, but anyway, we'll show you guys that later on in the driving portion. Just from a looks and aesthetic standpoint, I really like the looks of this new ES. This F-Sport trim is very sharp. This doesn't look like as much of a front-wheel drive platform as it used to. It's a little bit more angular and edgy and athletic looking. And it's a pretty big sedan too. This is a large vehicle. Very nice to look at inside and out. On the inside, we've got our pretty typical Lexus cabin. We've got some neat little storage solutions throughout here. You've got a very deep water bottle holder, and then if you push this button, it becomes less deep. This is a bit strange down here with these USB chargers and aux ports. It's not very attractive when it's open, and then these are pretty much the only USB ports you can have in the front. So you always have to kind of leave this open if you want to charge your phone or connect your phone to Apple CarPlay. There is a wireless charging place right there and a little bit of storage underneath. Of course, we've got Lexus's good old touchpad. Some work better than others. This feels pretty good. It's not too tedious to work around once you get everything set up and you get used to the system. But for the most part, it's not ideal, but it does get the job done. This Mark Levinson is very impressive. We'll test that later. Down here we have buttons for your heated and cooled seats, heated steering wheel. All those are very nice. They're not overly hot. You do have a rear window shade. Very nice. Otherwise, all the ergonomics in here are very standard Lexus. I just love the look of this cabin. It looks, I think, fantastic. You've got your moving gauges. You can see a bunch of different driver info displays there. Put it back. You've got your Eco, Sport, and normal drive modes. You can turn off traction control right there. Easy to use buttons and this kind of up-down switch for your temperature controls. Tune and volume knobs integrated into one. There we go. Sliding visors, all the things that people love these days in their luxury sedan. Let's take this Lexus ES for a drive and see how it does on the road. Before we get going, though, shouldn't we do just a little all-wheel drive test in this parking lot, just to kind of see how it does? Probably. We probably should. Not bad. You can drift in the Lexus ES. That's fun. I wouldn't recommend these standard all-season tires for winter driving that much, but even with traction on, it gets a little bit sideways. Good on you, Lexus. This is a nice all-wheel drive system. I will say, we did a test earlier in 2020 with a Camry all-wheel drive, and I was very impressed with how well that all-wheel drive system worked. In the real world, in the snow, on an ice course, it was a very good system. I just don't think they should pair it with this 2.5 liter. If you're not an aggressive driver, or you just drive like a grandma, then there's nothing wrong with this powertrain. It's a little bit loud, a little bit noisy, but if you're just putzing around, going slow in the right lane, you have nothing to worry about. But if you're trying to keep up with traffic, then this is kind of an unrefined powertrain. I'll show you guys what I mean once we get going here. Right now we're on a pretty bumpy section of road. The ride quality is fantastic. I really, honestly, don't have a lot of complaints about the way this ES drives besides the engine. You have pretty good visibility. The tech works reasonably well and is nicely integrated. I'm glad that we have buttons and knobs for climate control. But just getting up to speed, you're living above 3,000 to 4,000 RPM, which is very strange in a luxury vehicle. Normally in an ES350 or an ES300H, you'd just be sitting at about 2,000 RPM, you'd barely hear the engine, and this 2.5 liter is a bit unrefined and harsh sounding. And the fact that this has an extra 440 pounds or so to push around over the Camry all-wheel drive just kind of adds to that extra stress on the powertrain and extra noise that you get out of the driving experience. It's kind of strange because this is otherwise a very quiet and luxurious car to drive. Let's merge onto the highway here. We've also got a ton of hunting from the transmission. Because there isn't a lot of torque, it does have to struggle to get up to speed. If you need to accelerate just slightly, it's got to drop a few gears, get up to over 4,000 RPM to make a pass. Anyway, you guys get the idea, and you'll get a pretty good sense of what this powertrain is like once we get going. Luckily, radar-guided cruise, steering assist, all work quite well in this new ES. It's a very easy system to engage and disengage. Keeps you very nicely centered between the lines. This is a system that Lexus has done a very good job improving upon these last few years. And in this ES, it's very usable, it's very nice. No weird glitches or unpredictable scenarios. This is flat out. There's a good amount of power above 5 grand, but you kind of have to live there if you want to go anywhere in this car. Let's put us into sport mode here just for fun. See how the paddle shifters work. Got a little bit of responsiveness there. Yeah, paddle shifters actually do a pretty good job. Quick handling test. Actually feels really good. Very flat cornering, nice mechanical grip from the front end. Very impressive around a corner. It's like the Miata of luxury cars. You just have to rev the nuts off of it. Not a lot of wind noise. Tire noise seems pretty well controlled. No major impact noise or reverberance through the cabin. Steering feels good on center, nice and stable, nice and solid. Had a really nice weight to it back there on that entrance ramp. Yeah, otherwise, I'm actually really impressed with this new ES. Very curious to get into a 300H or 350 sometime in the future, so hopefully we can make that happen. While we're just cruising, let's go in and listen to this Mark Levinson. I have high hopes for the ML sound system in this. Hopefully that gives you guys an idea. It's a fantastic Mark Levinson unit. Definitely one of the better ones Lexus has been making recently. No complaints there. This car feels and drives awesome. It's just, this engine's always just revving up so high to get it going. I don't know if you noticed while we were listening to the sound system test, but it's just really struggling to get up to speed, even just around city driving environments. Very strange. And like I said earlier in the walk-around portion, there's a weird vibration at idle with the HVAC turned on. So I don't know if that's a problem with this car, but all said and done, I wouldn't recommend this 250, but I would recommend the 300H or the ES350. And the price difference actually isn't really that much. If you need all-wheel drive and you don't really care about the powertrain, then this might be a good option. But it really kind of ruins the luxurious experience of an otherwise fantastic car. Very strange, very strange. Sometimes Lexus does great things and sometimes they do confusing things, and this is one of those cases. But high marks for the ES, not so high marks for the 250, but that's okay. Maybe, you know, we'll get a plug-in hybrid of this someday and be able to go 40, 50 miles on just battery power. And then we'll have all the torque we need. And that's the other thing, too, is this 250 only gets about 25 miles a gallon in the city and 34 on the highway, whereas you can be over well into the mid 40s in the ES300H. And yeah, that's only front-wheel drive. But in a car with only 200 horsepower or thereabouts, you don't need all-wheel drive. You just get winter tires. You'll be fine. Anyway, rant over. You guys, I think, get the point. Fantastic car. Just get any of the other two engine options and you'll be in good shape. Oh, yes. I am actually quite surprised at a lot of the styling elements they've brought in from the LS500. It definitely feels like a much nicer vehicle than you're paying for. The all-wheel drive system is good in this car, though. I will give it that. So good on Lexus for trying close, just no cigar. Thanks for watching, guys. We will have some more videos out on this ES250 on the Windy Road Magazine YouTube channel and on the Daily Motor YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.